I'm the laziest person on earth, and if you're lazy too, then these high-protein vegan recipes are for you. Starting with breakfast, we are making some protein pancakes. Start by mixing 150 grams of flour with 30 grams of plant-based protein. I'm using salted caramel one for my protein. Then add 3 grams of baking powder and cinnamon to taste. Also add a pinch of salt and mix the dry ingredients together. Next, add in 250 milliliters of water or use your favorite plant-based milk, which will make this even higher in protein. If the batter is too thick, you can always add in some more water or plant-based milk. You should end up with a slightly thicker pancake batter. Using an ice cream scoop or a spoon, begin to ladle the batter onto a pan. I'm not using any oil as I'm using a non-stick pan, but if your pan seems to stick, then feel free to use some oil. Once the batter starts to set on top, flip the pancakes on the other side and cook until golden brown, or as you can see, mine are not as golden as I would like them to, as I didn't add any sugar. Repeat this process until you run out of batter. While my first batch of pancakes was cooking, I already spread some Biscoff spread on top for my boyfriend, but for myself I opted for something more nutritious. First, I cooked my portion of the pancakes. Then I washed and cut up one green apple. First, I cut it into quarters and then I made little cubes out of each apple quarter. I've tried to make all the apple cubes the same size, but as you know, the apple isn't the same size all the way around, so I ended up with some bigger and some smaller pieces. Then I added the apple to the pan together with some cinnamon and also some chicory syrup for sweetness. Added a splash of water and cooked down the apples until they became soft. The apples softened and the water evaporated in around 5 minutes. For plating, I just simply dumped all the apples onto one pile and I just couldn't be bothered. Then I also added 1 teaspoon of natural peanut butter and also a few freeze-dried blueberries that I found in my cupboard. 1 serving of these pancakes without any toppings will give you around 21 grams of protein, and if you add the toppings that I did, it adds up to 24 grams of protein. Moving on to lunch, we are making very quick and easy one-pot pasta. Start by peeling and finely chopping up 3 garlic cloves. And if you love garlic very much, you can add even more, it's up to you. Then roughly chop up around 60 grams of dried tomatoes. You can use the sun-dried tomatoes or you can use the ones in oil, the choice is yours. Then add 1 tablespoon of the sun-dried tomatoes oil and bring it up to heat. Add in the chopped garlic and also the sun-dried tomatoes, and if you like spicy food, then also add 1 teaspoon of crushed chili peppers. Stir constantly until the garlic turns lightly golden brown, then add in 1 tablespoon of tomato puree and stir well. Now it's time to add the pasta. I am using this La Marisana fusilli, but you can use any pasta shape or form that you like or have at home. I stirred the pasta here, but I'm not really sure why I did that, because you can move on to the next step, which is adding some water to cover the pasta, also with around 300 ml of soy milk. Add around 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper into the pot, together with around 20 grams of nutritional yeast, and stir well to combine everything. Also, don't forget to add around 1 teaspoon of salt. Cook the pasta on medium heat and keep stirring every minute or so, and then once the water evaporates you can add more, or you can cover the pot with the lid. And when the pasta is nearly ready, add in 1 can of drained cannellini beans. Again, this pasta makes for 2 hearty portions, and if you're not that hungry, then you will have around 3 servings of this pasta. And I always top mine with additional nutritional yeast and some chili flakes, but you can skip those if you want to. One serving of this pasta dish has 33 grams of protein, so you will be filled up for the rest of the day. And trust me, this portion is so big you won't be hungry until dinner. And for dinner we are making red lentil soup, which starts by cutting one small onion into fine pieces. Then add the onion to a pot. You can also use some oil here if you want to, but I chose to omit it. And then add some salt and stir until the onion becomes translucent. If it sticks to the bottom, then feel free to add some water. Then add 150 grams of red lentils and also add some water, just enough to cover the lentils and a bit more. I also decided to use half of one bouillon cube. This is vegetable bouillon, and you can also skip this one if you want to. To add more flavor, I am using half teaspoon of ground cumin, quarter teaspoon of black ground pepper, and then I'm also adding half teaspoon of ground turmeric. Then cook the soup on medium heat until the water starts to evaporate. Once you see that there is not enough water, then pour in some more. And keep cooking until the lentils start to split. Once the lentils are done cooking, you have three options. You can leave it as is, so you won't be mixing it, or you can mix half of the soup and leave the rest as it is, but I'm choosing the third option, which is blending it completely with an immersion blender. Also, don't forget the taste test and adjust the seasoning to your preference. I chose to use more cumin. If you decide to split this one pot of soup into two portions, just as I did, you'll have around 19 grams of protein per serving, but I decided to also have a piece of sourdough bread on the side, which amped up the protein to 27 grams. And also, let's not omit some snacks. And this day I chose this gooey-filled cookie from My Vegan, which has 15 grams of protein. And if you want the full macros, this day of eating was 1680 kilocalories, 96 grams of protein, 223 grams of carbs, and 12 grams of fat. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you'll get more inspiration on high protein and plant-based meals.